Rome has a way of making everything feel more dramatic. The clay, the history, the way the sun hits the Foro Italico in the late afternoon, it turns ordinary moments into something that lingers. And in May of 2026, during the Italian Open, one of those moments slipped through the cracks of a regular tournament day and became something nobody could stop talking about. Not a match. Not a trophy. A single photograph. One frame. One glance. And the internet lost its mind. Here's what happened. Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1, fresh off a crushing win over Barbara Krejcikova, was walking past the practice courts when something made her stop. Not a sound, not a voice. A feeling, maybe. Because what she walked into wasn't just a practice session. It was a whole atmosphere. Philippine flags were draped everywhere. Fans were chanting Laban Alex, a Filipino battle cry that doesn't translate perfectly into English but means something like, "Fight, Alex, fight," with every ounce of your soul behind it. And in the middle of all of it was a 20-year-old from Manila named Alex, moving across the clay with this quiet, unshakable confidence that you can't really teach. Sabalenka stopped mid-stride. Her arms crossed. Her face went somewhere hard to read. And a photographer, who probably didn't even think twice about pressing the shutter in that moment, accidentally captured what became the most debated image of the entire tournament. Within hours, it had 30 million views. 30 million. For a practice court photo. That tells you everything you need to know about how hungry people were for this story. Now, before we get into what the photo meant, what Sabalenka did next, and what all of it says about where women's tennis is heading, let's slow down and actually set the scene properly, because context is everything here. The Italian Open in 2026 was shaping up to be one of those tournaments where the drama off the court was matching anything happening on it. Sabalenka had arrived in Rome as the defending champion, carrying the kind of aura that makes opponents second-guess themselves before the warm-up even ends. 3 titles already that season. Her game was in that zone where she looked almost impossible to beat. Heavy ball, relentless pressure, movement that made the court seem smaller than it was. She wasn't just the favorite. She was the standard. And then there was Alex. Ranked 38th in the world at the time, she had been quietly putting together a clay season that people were starting to pay attention to. Not loudly. Not with the kind of fanfare that surrounds a Sabalenka or a Rybakina. But steadily, point by point, match by match. In that way that's almost more dangerous because you don't see it coming until it's already arrived. She was preparing that afternoon for a third-round match against Elena Rybakina, the world number 2. Let that sink in for a second. 38th in the world. Third round. World number 2 across the net. The kind of match that would have most players tightening up, playing not to lose. But watching Alex warm up, you wouldn't have known any of that. Her footwork was loose. Her swing was clean. And the energy around her court was something else entirely. It wasn't just fans watching a practice session, it was a community showing up for one of their own. That's what Sabalenka walked into. And that's what she stood there watching quietly for several minutes. The photographer thought nothing of it at first. Just a player watching another player. Happens constantly at these events. But when the image surfaced online, something about it hit differently. Maybe it was Sabalenka's posture, arms folded, still, deliberate. Maybe it was her expression, which wasn't warm, wasn't cold, wasn't really anything you could easily name. Maybe it was just the contrast, the most powerful player in the world, standing at the edge of a court, watching someone nearly 40 spots below her in the rankings like she was taking notes. The comments section became a completely different sport. People were writing essays. Serious, passionate, sometimes unhinged essays about what the look on Sabalenka's face meant. She's studying her. She already knows. She sees the future and she doesn't like it. Others pushed back hard. She's the world number 1. She's not scared of anyone. You're inventing a story from a single photo. And honestly, both sides had a point, which is part of why the debate wouldn't die. Because the truth, as it usually is, was sitting somewhere in the middle and slightly to the left of where anyone was looking. Here's what gave the speculation its fuel. Earlier in the tournament, separate footage had surfaced of Sabalenka during one of her matches, clearly frustrated, turning to her coaching team and saying, "What are you showing me?" It was a tense moment, The kind that happens when a champion can sense something slipping and can't quite figure out where the leak is. Fans stitched that clip together with the practice court photo and built a whole narrative. Sabalenka is rattled. Not by a loss. Not by her own form. By the shift in energy happening around her. By the fact that somewhere on a practice court in Rome, a 20-year-old from Manila was drawing the kind of crowd energy that usually belongs to the very top of the game. And energy, as any athlete will tell you off the record, matters. It feeds into matches. It changes atmospheres. It moves the needle in ways that statistics don't capture. So the question that nobody could quite answer was this. Was Sabalenka watching Alex out of cold strategic calculation, the way a chess player studies a piece that's moving up the board? Or was there something else going on? Something more human than that? The answer came from the most unexpected place. Not from a press conference. Not from a carefully managed media moment. From a comment section. Iva Jovic, an 18-year-old American player who had spent the Italian Open training with basically everyone, hitting with Alex one day, with Sabalenka the next, posted some photos from her time in Rome. Warm, candid shots. The kind that remind you these players are also just young people having an experience. Alex left a message on the post. Something warm and supportive for her young training partner. And then Sabalenka, the same woman who had been photographed watching Alex with that unreadable expression, replied. Not to Jovic's original post. To Alex's comment. 2 words. Crown emoji. Queen behavior. The internet did not handle this calmly. Screenshots spread faster than the original photo had. Queen behavior. The world number 1, the defending Roman champion, the woman who had been cast as the potential villain of this whole story, was publicly, unprompted, calling Alex queen behavior. The comment got 500,000 likes in a few hours. And the entire narrative that had been building for days, the tension, the cold stare, the threatened champion, cracked open and something completely different fell out. Because here's the thing about those 2 words that I don't think enough people have sat with. Sabalenka didn't have to do that. She didn't owe anyone a comment. She could have scrolled past, liked the photo, said nothing and nobody would have noticed. But she didn't. She saw Alex's comment on that post and she typed queen behavior and she hit send. That's a choice. A deliberate one. And it completely recontextualized everything. The photo, the expression, the whole perceived tension. What if the look on Sabalenka's face on that practice court wasn't cold at all? What if it was recognition? Because these two, despite their very different rankings at that point in the season, actually have more in common than the rivalry narrative wanted to. Knowledge. Sabalenka built her way to the top through sheer force of will and an absolute refusal to back down. She's been doubted. She's been counted out. She's had to claw for respect in a sport that doesn't give it away easily. And standing there on that practice court, watching a young woman from the Philippines draw that kind of passion and noise and belief from a crowd, maybe what she felt wasn't threat. Maybe what she felt was something closer to recognition of a fighter. She had said it herself earlier in the season, in a quiet moment after one of her own matches. She's going to be a problem. Not now. So, she's got the game. She's got the crowd. She's got the heart. Nobody made much of it at the time. But after queen behavior, those words hit completely differently. She wasn't talking about a rival she wanted to crush. She was talking about someone she respected. Someone whose trajectory she had clocked early and filed away. The reaction from the tennis world to that comment was something to witness. Coco Gauff, who had faced both players, posted just 4 words. Love to see it. From Naomi Osaka added her voice. This is the energy. We rise by lifting others. Even Iga Swiatek, who has had her own fiercely competitive history with Sabalenka in the battle for the number 1 ranking, offered a single word. Respect. Philippine media ran with the story the way you'd expect them to, with complete and justified joy. Aryna Sabalenka calls Alex queen behavior. World number 1 endorses Filipina star. And look, you can debate the framing all you want, but the core of it is real. The best player on the planet looked at a 20-year-old from Manila who was ranked 38th in the world and said queen behavior with a crown emoji. That's not nothing. That's actually everything. Now I want to talk about what this moment means for where women's tennis is going, because I think the story is bigger than two players and a comment section. Women's tennis right now is sitting on top of something genuinely exciting. The depth of talent coming through is remarkable. You have established champions in their prime, you have players like Alex who are rising fast with a style and a following that transcends pure rankings, and you have this growing global energy that's pulling the sport beyond its traditional strongholds. Alex's story, specifically, carries a weight that goes beyond tennis. She's playing for a country that has never had a top 10 women's player. Every time she walks onto a court and those Philippine flags appear in the stands, there's a whole nation watching something they've never quite seen before. That means something. It means something to the 12-year-old in Manila watching her on a phone screen at 2 in the morning. It means something to the kid who picks up a racket because they finally see someone who looks like them making it at the highest level of the sport. Sabalenka understands weight. She's carried her own version of it her whole career. And I think that's part of what she sees in Alex. Not just talent, not just a future opponent, but someone who is carrying something bigger than herself onto every court she walks onto. They have never played each other in an official WTA match. As of Rome 2026, their paths simply hadn't crossed in the draw. But the French Open is right there on the calendar, and rankings being what they are, a potential meeting in the later rounds is absolutely on the table. The analysts were already gaming it out. Alex has the crowd, the movement, the fearlessness of someone who hasn't yet accumulated the scar tissue of repeated deep runs at majors. Sabalenka has the power, the experience, the ruthless ability to raise her level precisely when the stakes are highest. Stylistically, it would be a fascinating clash, not just two players trading ground strokes, but two completely different stories about how you get to the top of this sport. One through raw dominance built over years at the summit. One through this breathtaking, almost reckless belief that she belongs there right now. And here's the beautiful thing about where we are with these two. When that match happens, and it will happen, it won't come with the weight of manufactured beef or social media drama. It'll come with mutual respect already established. It'll come with Sabalenka having already said queen behavior and meant it, and with Alex having built something real enough that the world #1 felt moved to say it. That's actually rare in elite sports. The clean rivalry. The one where both sides genuinely acknowledge what the other is. No sniping in press conferences. No passive-aggressive quotes filtered through PR teams. Just two fighters who see each other clearly and can't wait to test themselves against what they see. The Italian Open of 2026 will be remembered for a lot of things. Sabalenka's march toward another title defense. The chaos of the draw. The afternoon heat on the Foro Italico clay. But more than any of that, it'll be remembered for a practice court photograph that nobody was supposed to see, and the two words that followed it, and the way those two words told the real story better than any of the speculation ever could. Queen behavior. That's what Sabalenka saw. That's what she said. And whether you were a Sabalenka fan, an Alex fan, a casual tennis watcher, or someone who clicked on the story because 30 million views is simply too many to ignore, you felt it too. The torch isn't being passed. There's no single moment where the old guard steps aside and the new one steps in. It doesn't work that way. What's actually happening is something more interesting. Queens are being made in real time, right in front of us, and the ones already wearing crowns are watching and nodding and saying, yes, we see you. We know what you are. And we'll see you across the net. That's the story of Rome 2026. And honestly, the best chapter hasn't even been written yet.